10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Lucky Jim, a rock and roll dance, be a magician. Sebastian K approaches the line. Guccio is coming late, and as they hit the wire, it's too close to call.
Now here's North American Harness Update on SRN1.
Yes, go outside and smell all of the gases thawing their way out of the ground, and the birds that have burrowed themselves so far into holes, finally emerging from their winter resting places for this one day of warmth, and now promptly they will be digging themselves back into the ground because it's going to be very cold in these coming days. But well, there was a wise adage that I once heard from a presumably wise man, although I've known a couple morons here and there that have said a smart thing about as often as I have seen an ostrich win a marathon. And the old adage goes, you never want to start by talking about the weather, because nothing shows you have nothing more to say or anything to say at all than talking about that one thing everyone experiences. Now, everyone is kind of a broad term. I get it, but the gents out there too get it too. But also, I mean, the dead can't really experience the weather. They're too busy being dead. But that's all beside the point, because we are all alive right now, and we hope to be that in more ways than one, because more ways than one. Because as we do each and every week here on North American, I should know what this show is by now. I do so many shows that it's hard to keep them. It's hard to keep track of all of them. Kind of like when I line my kids up in a row. I do it according to height, because it's just easier for my brain to work that way. So I have this ascending height of suns that I look to. And every time I look in each one of their eyes, not only do I just not see my love for them anymore, but also I just can't for the life of me remember their names. Is his name Josiah or his name Ezekiel? And why is it I'm naming all of my kids after New Testament characters? It really is a multitude of questions that I do not have time to answer, because we got to get rolling into the racing action. And I have to introduce my co-host for the evening, Mr. Rodney Adams Jr. himself, who will be joining me in this discussion of multi-race wagers that we're going to go into. Rodnington,
Mike's here too.
Why not exist or what?
Well, you see, I don't have the webcams open, so I didn't know you were here.
Well, here I am.
Oh, but we also have Mr. Michael J. Prebosi, who works with the
Your
dead.
attention to detail is absolutely dreadful.
My attention to detail, I'm only working with the details I've been given. And currently, I have the audio levels up to make sure everything's recording smoothly. I have all of the audio clips we had to play. I have the mixer I need open. And I'm looking at Greg Gangle himself point at squares with a man who looks like he's either Amish or he owns a bakery. There's no in between with the guy he's with right now.
That's one and the same.
They're both great vocations. Much better than being an electrician. Apologies to all electricians out there, but that's better than being a plumber. And if you want my full list of handyman jobs ranked in term from best to worst, please go to NAHUPicks.com, where under Ray's blog, there's not going to be that on there. But if you do go on to NAHUPicks.com, I do encourage you, and we all do encourage you, to go check out our racing analysis from tracks including Mohawk, which is racing right now, Western Fair, which is racing right now and we're about to get into, and the Meadowlands, which I spent so much of my time working. I poured so much blood onto my computer, and then it short-circuited, because you're not supposed to do that. No liquids are supposed to go into an electronic device. But live and let learn, or should I say Levy and let learn, because later in the show we'll be talking about some of those George Martin Beanie finals. But let's start with the number 4. That is not the noise that comes out of my mouth or out of my head or out of my nostrils even. That's the sound Mike Tyson makes when he gets punched across the face. But if you ever played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, however, let's roll into this now. Pick 4 starts with race number 7. 6 minutes to post over at the Raceway at Western Fair District. Not to be confused with the Raceway at Flamborough District or the Raceway at Yonkers District. Many raceways and many other districts that Western Fair just has to distinguish itself from. And this first leg is a congregation of affiliate mare claimers. 6 of them going postward. $15,000 the tag. Lots of familiar faces from last week. Let's see here. I'm going to start. Wait, we all have the same 3 horses, so let's just make this quick. Rod, you're our London expert. Tell us why the 1, 3, 5 are the only horses in this race.
Well, the 1, So Long Sugar, gets a big post shift. Raced well from off the pace last week. This horse is best on the front end, I think, and gets the rail tonight. Is likely going to be cutting the mile on the front. They're going to have to catch her this time. The 3, Friends to the End, was a game second coming from the back last time. Likely going to be first over here. That's why I'm not as keen on her tonight. But if she can trip out, she's definitely a player here. And then the 5, Falls Creek, has been razor sharp for like 2 months straight now. It's hard to knock anything she's doing. First, second, or third in her last 7 starts. So, again, this is one that I think you have to have on the ticket no matter what. So 1, 3, 5.
Now, Mike, did Rod miss anything?
Not really. I mean, the 1 had no chance the last time. Agree. The 3 really lacked room in the stretch. And Falls Creek kind of got the jump. The Falls Creek looked very good. And, I thought it was a surprising winner given the way the race shook out. But those are the best 3. I'm 1, 3, 5.
I am also 1, 3, 5. And for sake of brevity, second leg is the 8th race. If you need to open up your NAHU Picks dictionaries, which you can find in our merchandise store, and you look up the word brevity, and then the joke will make sense to you. Second leg's the 8th race. It comes after the 7th, at least in some countries and jurisdictions. It's another claiming event. $7,000 the tag. I was laughing earlier because Spider-Man Hanover's the 2 horse. It's always fun seeing these horses that were once in a Breeders' Crown race, now racing in these just menial conditions. I don't know why it's fun to me. It's just fun to see horses from my past. Let me deal with it, all right? It's the little bits of joy that I get each and every day. However, let's start it off with you, Rod, because you are taking the 2 horses to the inside by virtue of the second tier.
Yeah, the 1, Remus Blue Chip. No Scott Coulter tonight, so he's not driving this horse. But regardless, this horse gets back on a regular schedule finally. Has missed a ton of time, with scratches, layoffs, things of that nature. So, he's getting back on a regular schedule. I think the off-track is perfectly fine for him. He should be just fine with that. With the rail, I do think he's going to be firing and probably going to be on the lead and going to be the one to catch off of a nice win last time. And then the 8, Stonebridge Sting, cut the mile last week, just got caught at the wire, needs to be in the 2-hole tonight. I think is going to get the 2-hole. Loses Colin Kelly, but Travis Henry is just fine for this horse. No reason not to have this one on the ticket, thinking that he's going to get a 2-hole trip. So I'm 1-8 here.
Now, Mike, you also have the inside 2 horses, but your 2 horses are actually on the gate.
I like the 2 Spider-Man Hanover when he raced at Woodbine on March 11th. I thought that horse had a big chance in that race, and that was Monday night. Really no chance with the trip, but raced well enough, was outside a long way and was well meant there, and now gets back to the half-mile track, gets back against much easier types, and I think, with Harris on, there's going to be an aggressive drive. The 1's hard to leave out just because, he's faster than these. He likes to win, and he's inside. He should follow the 2 around the racetrack and be live late, so I was 1-2.
Zippity Zuda, Zippity Yay, Remus Blue Chip can definitely go all the way from the inside, especially since he won from post 5 last out at this level. Now he has post 1, if I'm not mistaken, means there's less ground he has to cover, and that only means he can only win by so much more. Spider-Man Hanover, I did not like although he was outside, I felt like he should have finished a bit stronger than he did in that last race. And his miles at Flamborough are okay too, considering the track hasn't really been perfect with the weather. making it kind of still thawing the track out, so on and so forth. But even then, he would still kind of hang in the stretch drive and not necessarily finish as strong as I'd like him to. And I'm sticking with horses that show a bit more speed, like the 5 Willie Bite is the other horse I use on this ticket. From post 7, blasted to the front, last out, and then kept going on the lead until just getting caught through the stretch, losing by less than a length over a sloppy track, also over at Flamborough Downs. And the start before that, as the favorite, rode the pocket, did finish third, but that was off a couple weeks of rest. So this time around, may show similar speed, may perform a bit better. I'm 1-5. I'm done explaining it because we got to move on to the 9th race. It's the third leg of the Pick4 sequence. Look at that. $15,000 claimers once more. And let's see, Rod, explain to me why the 2 is not a single.
The 2's not a single because I'm using the 1 as well. The 1, Julian I Am, jumps up just a notch here, but a very similar class going into the claimers. But the non-winners of 10,000 from the 7-hole last week got away in the back, just had no chance at all the whole time. Look at that third quarter speed though. This one went to 28 4 third quarter last week. Got a little tired on the end, but I think fits well against a group that is a little bit weaker than that bunch that he was in against last time. Looked 2 back, came from way back. The key to this horse, get away closer than what he has been. That's the only thing. If he does that, he's got a shot to win. You should get fair odds there. And then the 2, Hide the Cheddar for the Rays. You know, this one has been in very good form. Last week, got trapped inside. You know, he didn't get off the rail there. There was a horse that was parked. I think he's got a shot to win, but I don't like the price. And I'm going to try to beat him based on the fact that he's probably going to be sub-even money in this Pick4. So 1-2 for me.
Now, Mike, you're also trying to beat the horse that's going to win this race by throwing on the 4.
Well, you know, like Rod said, the 1 and the 2 are the main players. They've raced against each other the last 2 races. The 1 gets a significant post switch and, you know, has to get away better than 8th in this race. I think that's what happened to this horse the last 2 races. If he is closer, he has, you know, a legitimate chance to beat the 2. They finished right next to each other last time within, you know, a quarter length. So the 4, I think you need to use just because the horse took a ton of money last time with Garrett Rooney in a race that had really no chance to win. It was a stone-cold boat race. Second time back now, you know, has raced well at the level in the past and now gets Coulter. So 1-2-4.
Hide the Cheddar has the speed, and that's why he's going to win. I agree that the 1 needs to get away a lot better, but even on the post switch, I'm not necessarily sure if that's possible, because this horse had post 2 starts back, and still got away 8th by 11 lengths as the favorite. So I don't think this horse really has much gate speed to begin with. Hide the Cheddar could be the lone speed, and if he just gets things his own way, then he's going to win like he did 2 starts ago in style. I'm just going to single the 2. And not only that, I'm okay singling because I don't really see this Pick4 paying gigantic, so I'm going to keep my ticket cost small so I can at least grind out some kind of a profit going into this last leg. It's another $15,000 claiming event. Mike, you used the most here. You're taking 4.
Yeah, I'm 4 deep in that last one. Just, you know, trying to maybe sneak out something. You know, the 2's the likely favorite. Draws inside, you know, was in the exact of the last 2 races. Probably is going to be favored again. But, you know, still hard to trust. Kicked home 31 and 2 last time. There's some that can finish better than that in here. The 5, you know, had a bad post last time. Is 1 for 34, but, you know, gets Harris now. So that's the reason I'm using that one. The 8, Queen Course, 3rd back for Shepherd. Raced okay last time as they favored. Has burned some money. Is lightly raced. You know, let's see what this horse does against these. Lost to the 2 last time they faced each other. And then the 9 gets, you know, comes off the break for this trainer that seems to win with everything. I'm not going to leave that one out. 2, 5, 8, 9.
Rod, you also don't leave that 1 out, but you don't use the 5. 1 minute to go, by the way.
No, I'm not using the 5. I'm using the 2. Grooving with you, Travis Henry. By the way, there's no Scott Coulter. He's not driving the 4 there in this last race.
I would have no idea since I turned my computer on 5 seconds ago.
And Austin Story's driving the 3. My mama's cranky. But I am 2, 8, 9 in this final leg. My My best play in this race is the 9, Lovey Park. I think you're going to see better. As long as she stays flat, she can beat these. She is kind of quirky in the second tier, though, so be cautious about that.
I'm 1-2-8 in that race. I don't like the 9 specifically from the second tier. If she was on the gate, I'd be a bit more interested. Here's my ticket for 20 cents. I'm 1-3-5 with 1-5 with 2 with 1-2-8. That's $3.60 for 20 cents. Mike, your ticket.
1-3-5 with 1-2 with 1-2-4 with 2-5-8-9. It's $14.40.
Rod.
1-3-5 with 1-8 with 1-2 with 2-8-9. It's $7.20.
And it's post time at the London Way race place. As the starting car moves into position and the wings are folded inward, but they're about to fold outward. Favorite, the 1, So Long Sugar. 5-2, second choice. The 5, Falls Creek. Third choice, then at 5-1.
I like 5-1 here.
The 2, Lady Oxford. 4, Large and Legacy, tied for that third favoritism at 5-1 as So Long Sugar drifts up to even money. It's 6 of them over a good going. In behind the gate, in motion, swinging into the stretch. For the 7th from London start of the NAHU, Pick4, Friends to the End, gapped the gate, encouraged to go on. The rest are away. Falls Creek from the outside, pushes out, as does Lady Oxford to the outside of the favorite, So Long Sugar, who cuts the corner. It's going to be those two in tandem into the first turn. So Long Sugar emerges on top. Backing into the pocket, Lady Oxford as Falls Creek tucked into third, 3 lengths off the top. Then a gap of about 2.5 to Large and Legacy pacing fourth, ahead of Thrift Shop, then Friends to the End. As they move on to the opening quarter, Friends to the End actually got ahead of Thrift Shop, as meanwhile So Long Sugar leads Lady Oxford on that one's helmet through a 28-4 opening quarter. Falls Creek tightens from third, with Large and Legacy back in fourth. They're then back to Friends to the End, fifth. Thrift Shop, the trailer, as the sextet was single file before Falls Creek made her move to the outside. Shepherd pulls first over with Falls Creek to advance towards So Long Sugar, heading to Circuit 2. Lady Oxford stays put at the inside, while Large and Legacy's on cover second over. Moving to that half-mile mark, So Long Sugar a length better in 59-3. 30-4 for that second quarter, circling into the clubhouse turn once more. So Long Sugar, the one to catch here, leads by a length as Falls Creek to the outside presses closer. Large and Legacy is poised second over, soon to be stride for stride with pocket sitter Lady Oxford. Ranging up from the back, Friends to the End, passing Thrift Shop, moving to the three-quarter pole. Falls Creek, a narrow leader from So Long Sugar, who battles back to the inside. Behind them, Large and Legacy ready to kick 3 high. Locked in, Lady Oxford as Friends to the End is now within 3 lengths of the lead. They pass 3 quarters in 1:28-4, and it's Falls Creek taking the lead, but having to hold off Large and Legacy. Tipping off cover into the lane. Falls Creek a half length ahead of Large and Legacy to the outside, pressing on. Dropping out So Long Sugar with Friends to the End from the back, fighting for that minor spot, but Large and Legacy gets by. Large and Legacy, Large late. Second, Falls Creek from Lady Oxford, looking to get third in 2 minutes flat.
I loved that horse last week, and it was absolutely empty off a perfect trip, and then wins tonight.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be writing my congressman about that one. That was Vomit City for me.
You suck,
for everyone.
you jackass.
Good for everyone. Whoa, I have no idea what that was, but I don't want to hear it again. That's good for anyone who had that horse in the pick 4. I was too stubborn to use that horse. Just off of what Mike said, she looked like she had nothing last week. Pulling first over. I don't know if maybe because the track was off that she finished better, but she also didn't have to go first over, so that could have also been the key. Because she pulled first over in that race last week. And she finished, I think she finished third?
No, she was 5th.
Oh, she was 5th. So she's of course she's going to win then. It's going to be 4-5, 2-3. Unofficial order in the 7th race. 6-1 over 2-1 over 4-1 over 9-2. Meanwhile, we also have the Meadowlands. They are currently on race 6 with 0 minutes to post. Their pick 4 starts in race number 8. As that, okay, race 6 is going to the gate. We could move on to that pick 4, get it out of the way, or we could talk about some leavies. We're going to leave it up to our panel here to decide what we do. And by that, I mean I'm going to wait for someone to shout at me what we're supposed to do. Because I have zero opinion. I don't know how we could talk long about the Meadowlands pick 4 because we all think it's difficult, and yet somehow you guys are still missing some of the key horses from the sequence, even though you used every one of the horses. Or we could run through some of the levies because it's the first leg of that 5-week series, 6-week series. There's 5 legs and then the final 6-week series over at Yonkers Raceway. Matchmakers are also going tonight, which so far I think they've chalked out, but sometimes they
There's the shock.
Yeah, right?
Let me guess. They're all from the 1, 2, or 3 hole.
Actually, no. Some of them were just from the 10 hole.
No, they weren't.
We're still trying to. There's investigators trying to figure out how that happened on track with their magnifying glasses, just looking into the dirt, going, "This makes no sense," because it's all in the dirt. But Meadowlands does have a pick 4 that starts with race number 8, and since no one's telling me what to do, I will tell everyone what to do. Race 8 starts the pick 4 sequence, $50,000 guaranteed pool. It is a trotting feature. They had a affiliate pacing division of this earlier in the card for $20,000. This now is a $17,000 division. Now it's the trotters' turn to go about their ways. As no one could fill the preferred, they all instead jumped into this race. 10 going postward in this event. And I do mean some of you guys used everyone, because, Rod, you used basically everyone in this first leg.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble in this race. There's several horses that can win here, so I went very deep. And really, I think trip is going to be the big factor here. So I'll start with the 1, Swansea. Go 4 starts down on an off track at Yonkers. This horse won from the 5 hole, left out of there. You get Andy Ray tonight from the rail. Horse has 4 starts on the off track, 2 wins in 2 seconds. You can't fault that. And it is downpouring at the Meadowlands, by the way. So I think from the rail, this horse is going to fire.
Good. I mean, so far that I've seen.
What's that?
Speed looks good there. So I mean, I've seen 2 races, but it's been front end.
Yeah, it just started raining after the 4th race.
But to be fair, also the horses that are winning at least make some sense.
Yeah.
Well, but even still, I mean that was a no passing zone these last 2 races.
But also these horses have no late kick, so keep that in mind too.
Yeah,
because we get the horses to go off the pace.
But with Swansea, he's going to leave. He might end up in the 2 hole with some other outside speed, but Andy Miller is aggressive. It's Scotty DiDomenico. I think the horse is going to be right there, and hopefully he gets the right trip up close and can go by him late if he's behind anybody at all. The 2, Tag Up and Go. This one is very versatile. Gets a drop back down to a level that I think fits better for this horse. Inside post, Marcus jumps back on, and Marcus gets along with this horse very well. The last 4 times he's driven him, he's got a win, 2nd, 3rd, and a 4th. With an inside post, I think he plays. He's going to be up close. A must play for me. The 5, Rock of Cashel. Corey Callahan. You get mid-pack here. This horse doesn't have any gate speed, so he's got to get a trip. He's got to get brought up, and he's got to be put in play before the half, because if they let him go, easy fractions up front, this horse has no shot, because he can basically close with everybody else. He's not going to be one to kick real hard home, so he's got to be in the right spot, preferably 2nd over here. The 6, Life Well Lived, has been close recently, just not getting the job done. With the trip tonight, should be right behind the 5, Rock of Cashel. I think he's going to be right there once again. A very good price play in this race. The 8, 2 a.m. I like this horse. He's dropping out of the preferred. He's always close when he's down at these condition ranks. Got to throw him on, and I think he's probably going to get bet pretty heavily in this race. And then the 10, Fashion Creditor. 2nd time Lasix here. Off the qualifier after missing about 3 months. he won over 130 grand last year. I don't see why you wouldn't have him on your ticket. This horse loves to win, and he likes being put in play. And you get a very aggressive driver in Pat Barry. So throw him on. Another good price play from the outside. So I'm 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 10.
Jesus Christ, that's too many horses. Mike, talk some sense into him. You only use 3.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I know it's a tough race. I agree with Rod in a lot of ways. But to keep the cost down, I want to spread out in other places. I used 3 horses and most of them were in the preferred last time. So Tag Up and Go, got stuck chasing Sutton and Trolley. 1, 2 back on March 1st and 1 well. I mean, that was a nice race there from off the pace. And prior to that was coming up the ladder. Draws well, doesn't mind a wet track. Should, get a half-decent trip in the race. I think that's a horse that's used. The 4, the last chapter, long price in the morning line. This horse has a lot of back class, though. 114,000 last year, 8 wins. Qualified okay. Last time, again, chasing Sutton, Trolley, in secret, no chance there. Still kicked 27-2 off the bench. Draws better now. You're going to get a price on this horse. And I really feel like that, this is going to be a much better effort against, these types. I think that horse is a definite price use. And then the 8, 2 a.m., 3 out of the last 4 was in the preferred. And is not disgracing in there, just chasing better ones. And, is another one that's kicking home 27-2, 27-3. Maybe might not necessarily like the off track, but, likes to win enough for me and gets a drop in class. I think that the horse should be closer early and will have a chance late. You're going to get a price, too, with Buter in the bike, so 2, 4, 8.
None of you guys used the most likely winner in this race being the 7, Reseda.
I knew you were going to say that.
I understand.
Off those last 2 lines?
What?
I said off those last 2 lines?
Well, here's the thing now. The horse had 3 straight wins. I give you the fact that as this horse was moving up the class ladder, maybe was beating horses that weren't of the same caliber that are here tonight. But you also look back in against horses like Now's the Moment to beat 2 a.m. 2 a.m. draws to the outside, and 2 a.m. also turned out to be a decent horse racing up in the preferreds, but one that more kind of chased the better horses like Sutton and Trolley week in, week out, and was entirely trip dependent. So how good he is maybe hard to say, but he was at least finishing well. But this horse has speed. That's literally it. Moved up into the preferred 2 weeks back, or rather 2 starts back, that was 3 weeks ago, and made that break. Okay, toss that race completely. Next out, the horse goes an easier trip, isn't pushed off the gate because they don't want the horse to break again. Give the horse an easy mile, and in that race, did move off the rail in that final stretch, and of course, everyone was sprinting home. This one at least still gained ground, much like the 4 did, still kind of gained ground, kicked home in 27 and change, stayed flat through the process of it all. Now, because of that, I just have this feeling that he's going to use that speed again. He has to in this situation if this horse is going to have any shot to win, as now he moves down from the preferred into this kind of hybrid condition, and ultimately looking to his inside. I mean, Swansea might have some speed, but that's also Yonkers' speed, so it's kind of hard to tell. The horse will at least kind of push off the gate. Tag Up and Go's always better off a helmet, so that will be his MO, as is Zlatan, although Zlatan can sometimes go for a pocket spot or a forward position. So ultimately, it's not going to be too hard for Reseda to get off the gate if he chooses to lead.
The 4's going to be closer in the race, for sure.
Why? How do you know that?
Because he's drawn better. Second off the bench, I would expect aggression for this horse. I mean, there's no reason not to go here.
Well, I mean, I don't get how he drew better if he had the same post last week.
No, but he's drawing better than some of these outside ones. Is what I'm saying. Okay. He's drawing better than the 7, the 8.
But also nothing about this horse shows speed to me either. So you would have to be entirely conjecturing that he's just
okay. It's hard to see it because you have the Yonkers Open race where he broke at the start, so that's a pitch. Then you had a 9-hole 2 back at Yonkers. He's not going to be on the front in that race because he's in the second tier.
But he had the 2-hole to start before that, and what did he do? He didn't leave either. That's my point.
I just feel like that if they're going to try, they're going to go with this horse, especially with the inside 3 that like to sit.
Okay, that feeling is fine. I'm going with the fact that Reseda has shown speed recently on this track.
Not in the last 2 races.
But That's what I'm saying. Toss the break, and we see time and time again.
If you're allowed to toss races, why can't I?
Yeah.
That the point I'm getting to though is those I'm saying it's fine that you feel that way. I, however, do not see it like that.
Okay, that's okay. I mean, I get it. I'm just giving you an alternate theory here.
No, and I give you credit for trying to take a horse that's going to go at a decent price, and if I lose, I hope that horse wins. But looking just purely at the numbers and not theorizing and conspiring to what horses might leave after having never shown speed. I'm just going off the fact that Reseda had the break, and then of course the start after that, they want to make sure they don't break again, so they don't have to qualify. And not only that, in the race, that was a preferred that went so slow. There was a final quarter sprint, so no one's going to be gaining any ground. And this horse at least still gained like a length or two in the stretch drive, and that's a positive. That's a positive note to take out of that race. So because of that, I feel this horse could show speed again because that was his MO in every other start before the break. Other than the 7, I agree with Tag Up and Go because he's been racing well off of covered trips, and that's just what he should go for overall. He improved greatly from that race where he had the perfect setup 2 starts back and he won in 53 and 3. And then in that last race, he kicked home the best out of anyone in that preferred, coming off cover to get 4th at 20-1, and now dropping in class, getting a good draw again. He's a very logical horse as well, but he's also going to take a lot of money as a result, but deservingly so because he makes sense. I also throw on Rock of Cashley's the 3rd horse, another one who moved up the class ladder, but he's also just good off of covered trips. He tried going first over 2 starts back and then hang through the stretch as the favorite. Not necessarily his ideal trip. Last out, he just stuck to the rail. He was another one that kind of, he kicked home decently in 27 and change to get 5th just to cash a check. Now on the drop, hopefully he works out that trip that he needs. And maybe he wins, maybe he doesn't. I'm going by the numbers. I'm going by what I'm given. 257 for me in that first leg. Reseda, also my top pick over at NAHUpicks.com. 9th race is a non-winners of 5,000 the last 5 starts for Filly and Mare Pacers. 10 more going postward here. And looking at my numbers, oh, Rod, you used 3 of the 4 horses I use.
Okay.
That's a lot of horses for you.
It's a tough race. This was one of the races for me.
It is a pretty tough race, but I'll start with the 1 Blush Hanover. Second start off the qualifier. Last week was kind of just a go-around race for me. Sat in, got shuffled back, finished well. Basically paced home with everybody, gained a couple lengths. But I do like the fact that this horse drops 2 class levels for the second start back, gets the rail. She should be up close, much closer than what we saw last week where, he just sat in it and didn't really do much. I expect probably a trip, either a 2 or 3 hole or maybe a first over bid past the quarter to try to brush to the front. The 3, Well Said Maria, hit or miss type. She's either going to be right there or she's going to be off stride very early in the mile. She is kind of a head case, but when she's flat, she'll be on the lead, and they're going to have to catch her. She doesn't finish that well, but, definitely fits here. Needs to be played because you don't want a horse like that to beat you. And then the 4, You Should Be Here, for Andy Miller. Second time he's driving the horse. Last week, he left, got shuffled a little bit, and then came back late. Raced very well there, gets a double class drop as well. Raced in the same class as the 1 last time. And I think maybe if he fires again, he's going to end up with a nice trip, either in the 2 or 3 hole, depending on if the 3's flat or not. He might even be on the front.
Yeah,
that's my 3 there, 1 3 4.
Meanwhile, we are going to catch the 8th from London in progress up to our track announcer, Blitz McGee. As they go down the backstretch, it's Spider-Man Hanover leading by 2 1/4. Ramus Blue Chip in back second. Stonebridge Sting from the second tier sitting a third. With a gap of 3.5 back to Nate Zabucky fourth. Opening quarter up. in a 28 and a 2, rounding that second turn for the first time. It's the favorite, Spider-Man Hanover, set it 3-2, leading Ramus Blue Chip by a length and a half. Back in third, Stonebridge Sting spinning into the lane with 1 lap to go. Nate's Bucky is about 4.5 lengths behind that one, back in fourth, soon to be overtaken by Dragon Wave. As they go past the half, look at the clock, 58. And a 1:29 for second quarter. Spider-Man Hanover now separating from Ramus Blue Chip to the backside. It's 3.5 length here lead for Spider-Man Hanover, and it's only growing. Ramus Blue Chip chases, as does Stonebridge Sting, angling to the outside. Nate's Bucky stays put towards the rail. Dragon Wave caught behind tiring ones as his wheelie bike stuck to the inside. Deep on the track to the back. Mock the Knife is circling a 3 high, but it's a 6.5 length deficit the field has onto Spider-Man Hanover. Past 3 quarters in 1:28. Spider-Man Hanover is creeping into the stretch, leading here by 7. Dragon Wave is closing up to be second to the inside, then Ramus Blue Chip, but through the lane and to the wire, it is Spider-Man Hanover. Spider-Man Hanover winning handily. Second there, Stonebridge Sting in 2 minutes and 4/5. I don't know, they really should fire that Blitz McGregor guy. He gets on my nerves. He's way too ecstatic and loud for my taste.
I thought you said McGee.
Well,
change the B to a T.
Maybe what you should do is you should go to your ear, eyes, nose, throat doctor. You go to your ears, eyes, nose, throat doctor, have him take a large pull and just stick it into your ears and then see how you hear after that. Rod is 3 deep in that second leg of the Pick4 at Meadowlands, and his only retort are noises that other people create. Mike, however, you have the power of the English language. Something we have so carefully crafted and then bastardized over recent years. And you are going a complete different direction in that, well, you use some similar horses.
Not really. I mean, I have 2 out of the 3 that he has.
Well, you put your 2 horses together and you get mine.
I don't like the one in the race just because I know this horse is a stone closer, and I don't see this horse winning on this racetrack, so that's why I didn't use that one. But I agree on the 3. Yannick should have this horse close. If she stays flat, she's going to be there, and you're not going to get 8-1 there. The 4, you should be here. This horse fits at this level, was decent third last time against 2 horses that would probably be 1-5 in this race. The barn's going well. I think Andy Miller's a good fit for this horse. I think you have to use. And then the 8, Ella Christina, who has a lot of back class. Surik this horse had a start February 22nd, which I actually picked this horse on top that night, and really she didn't have a whole lot, so missed a little time, but won 6 times last year. This isn't the toughest bunch, and it's definitely easier than the horses that she faced last time. I'll give her another shot off the bench, 3, 4, 8.
Yes, so you put those 2 together, you take your right horse in, you take your right horse out, you take your left horse in, and you get the 1, 3, 4, 8, because that's what I got. I got Blush Hanover to the inside. We all got Blush Hanover to the inside. You can't get her from a different post unless your bookie is trying to take money from you. This horse is making her 2nd start of the season. 1st start of the season. She rode the rail, got shuffled out of the mix, but then slid up the inside in 27 and change to get 5th behind horses, including, but not limited to, Pen Pal and Believe in Me. If you say that one more time, I believe Dave Chappelle will emerge from my closet and kick me in the nuts. I don't want that. I do not want that happening because my nuts are precious. Our Blush Hanover, God damn it, I hear it. But Blush Hanover to the inside could work out a similar trip. I don't think she needs to be on the lead, but she also drops in class. She can kick home well. Well said, Maria. Thank you, but my name's not Maria. She likes to break, as she has shown by galloping in most of her starts, but in her most recent start, she broke at the start. And for some reason, she decided I want to be in the race, and she came home 26 and change to finish 5th. 15-1. Now she drops in class, and by dropping in class, she's in against weaker horses. Maybe she stays flat, maybe she doesn't, but when she does, she at least races decently. From there, you should be here. is probably the horse to beat in this race, so long as she decides to leave. 2 starts back, she showed no speed for a reason I cannot understand, or let alone even try to even create in my own head. But the start after that, she went back to her usual ways of going up towards the top. Then she dragged behind Pen Pal, and then Believe in Me, just to finish third in that race in a decent mile. But now the fact that Pen Pal and Believe in Me are not in this race, she should win. And if she doesn't, then I'm gonna call Bob Bonjoro, and I'm gonna tell him that he's a bad boy. From there, I use Christina. Gotcha, bitch. On this sequence, as in her last start, she was also against that numbers of 11-5 group, losing to horses like, but not limited to, Rockin' Praline, Fancy Creek, Jolene, and Family Roll Call, all mares, which, if they were in this race, would not only be bet down to be the favorite, but also would blow this field so much away that you would think that they were the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. From there, can you believe, by the way, that there are kids my age who don't even know what Chernobyl is? I just wanted to get that out there for our old audience that really...
Realize how long ago that was.
It was only like 30 years ago.
Well, there's kids at your age that are 18.
But they own textbooks. They know
that doesn't mean they read them.
Is.
That doesn't mean your teachers actually teach it.
You see, this is why Hillary Clinton's president. But Ella Christina, in this race, drops in class, maybe shows a bit more on the class drop, and also off of the couple weeks rest, because she's been off 2 weeks, and now she's coming back. It's in against weaker. All of that adds up to Win City sometimes. 1, 3, 4, 8 for me in that second leg. The third leg's the 10th race. Numbers of $8,500 trot. We got 10 more horses going postward in this race. Mike, this is the race where you decided to spread out. Care to explain why?
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was the toughest race out of any. So I'm 5 deep in this one. I'm going to start with the 1, Hank's Tank. This is a Canada horse, was racing numbers at 10,000 at Woodbine, 2 back, broke on the half mile at London in their top class. Just throw that race completely out. This horse is capable at this level because this numbers of 8,500 is actually, I think, lesser types than the horses that he was facing up in Woodbine. Draws well, can flash speed, and should get a trip in the race. I'll use that one. The 2, High Blue, comparable post at Yonkers, moves inside, has back classes, made $250,000. So I think with this inside draw, could be sneaky in here at a big price. The 5, Peace Wave Hanover, raced fair enough last time, just getting to the Meadowlands. Now jumps up a tick, but has raced at this level before. Was 3-1 at this level on January 25th. Won 5 races and a lot of money last year. Rubber Duck just won the 7th race, so is facing sharp ones. I think you can use that one. The 7, Land on Fitz. This horse is racing numbers at 20,000, numbers at 10,000 at Yonkers. Always races well at this racetrack, and is 4th back now. I'm just looking at the class here, and I think that this horse is good enough on this racetrack. It has a 55 and 2 mile here, and I like to move back to the big track. And then the 9, Miss Ruby. This is Yannick. Last time at this level was 3rd, and 2 back 1 for numbers of 5,000. Anything that Yannick has right now is put into play all the time, and I just feel like this horse can get away in the top 3 and then maybe be able to shake loose. So 1, 2, 5, 7, 9.
Whoa, that's so many numbers. Rod, talk some sense in him. You only used 2.
I'm only 2 deep here. I had to cut this a little bit short for cost purposes, but the 1, Hank's Tank, I agree with Mike. This one coming down from Canada definitely plays here, especially with the rail. I think should be getting away a little better with the first turn coming sooner here. It doesn't have to sprint as hard as what they have to up at Mohawk leaving the gate. So, I do think this horse is going to get away pretty well. And its first start for Harmon, expect this horse to race very well. And then the 6, Mayfair Johnny B, who Mike doesn't use. It's Steve Smith for Jackie Green. This one last time
Steve
closed.
Smith.
That's fine. The horse closed very well last week. is going to have to close again, but, you know, if he gets put in play, Steve Smith just has to pull this one and follow some cover up. You know, definitely plays here. Going to be a decent price, not great, but, you know, I think is a viable play at fair value. Beep. And the 6 is going to win. And Mike's best finish, he used 5 horses, is going to be what? Beep.
Gotcha, bitch.
I live in a world that's only 90s TV references.
90s?
We're getting a lot of mileage out of this.
This was... Chappelle's show was 2005.
My point being is that the amount of mileage you're getting into this would have made your 99 Volkswagen Beetle implode on I-78.
Okay. What are you driving these days?
These days?
You're probably driving the 99 Volkswagen.
I'm driving Rod's wife.
That's Ray's car.
Came down with 250. Anyway,
Tell us who's gonna win, Dice.
You want Dice to tell you? There's too many F-bombs to have Dice come on this show. But Rod's right about Mayfair Johnny B, because keep in mind, Mike, this horse did win last year, towards the tail end of the 2018 season, against different horses here at the Meadowlands when shipping down from Plainridge. But aside from that, I want nothing to do with Hank's Tank. I want that horse to just not be there. I hate this horse. I don't think he's going to be anywhere involved, which only means he wins the race. Aside from him, though, I use the 5 Pierce Wave Hanover, as Mike mentioned, drops out of that Rubber Duck race. Even though he's moving up in class, Rubber Duck did win in hand tonight, crushed that field of, I think it was numbers of 12,000, or numbers of 85. It's some class of that sort. I'm not just going to go back in past performances to check, but nonetheless, Pierce Wave Hanover is jumping up to this numbers of $8,500 level from the numbers of $5,000 group, and he showed some speed to get up close, and then he sat the pocket, but had to chase Rubber Duck to the wire while this guy is on fire. A horse who was dropping down from like numbers of 20,000, 30,000 at Yonkers, and only was in that low-level group because he was having some braking problems and trying to get back to his normal stride. He ended up finishing second there in that race to Rubber Duck, and then third was Pierce Wave Hanover. So long as he shows speed again, he'll at least get involved because of that, and could be a decent price, just judging by the fact that this race sucks. Aside from that, Mayfair Johnny B, if he can sit somewhat closer than 8th or 9th, he can outkick most of the horses in this field because they all love to go backwards. But then I also use the 9 Miss Ruby, who really should have raced better than she did last week when Explosive Ridge just popped pocket on Pappy Go-Go. But Pappy Go-Go also, for some reason, is the worst horse on the lead, but always gets money as he's dropping down in class, which is the only reason Explosive Ridge won that race, is because Pappy Go-Go gets lazy on the top. But Miss Ruby races her best off of those rail trips. 2 starts back, she just sat the inside, and she kicked to the wire to win in 54 and 4 against numbers of 5,000, but then bumped up to the $8,500 group, got an easier trip from the inside post, but then finished third. Long story short, she has speed that she can use to get involved from post 9, because she's going to have to if she wants to get involved at all, and her preferred trip is just to sit behind horses up close and then maybe show some speed late, because she can also kick home well and better than Mayfair Johnny B, in all honesty. So I'm 5, 6, 9 in that third leg, bringing us to the final leg, race number 11. It's numbers at $3,500, fully in their pace for a purse of $8,000. 10 horses going postward here. And Mike, you use 30 horses.
3 horses. I think this is a more obvious type race. The 1 Northern Swift has raced better and, drops now to the bottom, moves inside, kicked 27 and 4. This horse is a little quirky and can sometimes have a funky gait, but I think should be good here, and I think, Dunn will have this horse moving early. Definite use. The 5, Tearful of Happy, gets Yannick now, second Lasix. Too bad to be believed last time. Now gets Zurich off the claim. I would imagine this horse is going to be ready and probably, 3 to 5 in this race. And then the 7, Duck Duck Dragon. This horse has burned me before. This is a little bit of a drop and, did win in January here. And has had some wide trips. I thought last time was a little bit of a wake up. These are easier horses, and if they go crazy up front, this horse will be live late. 157.
Rod, you use 3.
Yeah, I used 3 here also. The 1, Northern Swift, gets an inside draw once again. I think fits well, likes the Meadowlands, and definitely plays on the class drop. I think that's the big key here. The 2, Dandy's Beauty, much better draw from last week. Fired from that outside post. Will be firing once again. Plays, but needs to get a trip. I think if she gets the right trip, maybe possibly a 2-hole trip, then she could win as a upset player. And then the 5, Tearful of Happy with Yannick and for Nick Zurich. Second time Lasix here. Didn't do very well last time, but it is first start for Nick Zurich. I think that alone makes this horse a play, and those are the only 3 I'm using here, 1, 2, and 5.
I thought about singling the 4 Do Your Job, who, when she was making her second start of the season, raced really well from post 10 to finish 4th, going first over after showing speed early in the race to get up towards the top. However, I convinced myself to use 2 other horses aside from Do Your Job. They all stick inside. First one being the 1, Northern Swift. We all talked about this one. She drops in class for Jean Drolet. Didn't really show much speed from post 8 last time, but did kick home on 27.4 to finish 6th. You look back, though, in her lines to late January, she was showing a bit more speed against this competition, but finishing 3rd, which is not first like we want her to finish tonight. But with the inside draw now and off of that sharp mile, maybe she shows a bit more going towards the top this time. It only makes the most sense because she will be the first one to the turn. Dandy's Beauty also likes to show speed. She shows a lot more speed consistently than the 1, Northern Swift, and was claimed 4 starts ago, and ever since then has been racing decently. The 3 starts back was 2nd against this group. 2 starts back finished 5th, and the start 4 8 left the gate for the lead, and then pulled to try and make another move for the lead before then in the stretch, not getting the lead because all of the other horses that did not have to work went by them all. So as a result, maybe Dandy's Beauty will sit a bit more of a conservative trip and not have to make multiple moves to try and win the race. Just go to the top and wait for things to fall your way. But also Do Your Job. Comes into this race 3rd start off the layoff. She was racing well against tougher horses towards the end of the season last year and is likely just starting to get back into form with each and every start and has definitely improved significantly in her last 2 races. I'm 1-2-4 in the last leg, which makes my ticket go as follows for 50 cents. I am, unfortunately, expensive. I am 2-5-7 in the first leg with 1-3-4-8, with 5-6-9, with 1-2-4. $40, 50 cents for 50 cents. Mike, your ticket.
248, 348, 12579 with 157. It's $67.50.
And Rod, your ticket.
1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 10 with 1, 3, 4 with 1, 6 with 1, 2, 5. It's $54. 54.
Here is the race call from the stretch drive at London, and it's a hide of the cheddar getting the beef. Hide the cheddar 1 and 3 to 5.
That was a goofy race. Wait till you see that race. Oh my goodness.
Oh, we'll catch the replay. Unless
it's brutal. I mean, it's brutal.
How brutal is it? That's the theme song for our new game show. How brutal is it? The show where we get you contestants to go on and say, boy, is that brutal. But we want to quantify it so we can fully understand.
Did you send me the Rosecroft program?
Rod?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, do that, please.
As of course, all horses in no play, we all know makes Ray a dull boy, and Ray is no way a dull boy. He is a dull man, ladies and gentlemen. If you cannot tell by the beard, I'm also trying to go out and tweet our Pick4 tickets, so that way everyone who missed out on the numbers can just read them with these handy-dandy little pictures that I make each and every week. As there's 0 minutes to post right now at the Melons, but I don't think they're on the track yet.
They're not.
They will be on the track shortly. But hide the cheddar, what did I tell you? He was the single. He was the single.
If you watch that replay, you want to give it a nickel for him at the top of the stretch.
You know what? You know what? I don't care because it only counts at the wire.
It's true, but
for tonight's pick 4, what track did we just handicap? The Meadowlands. At the really straightforward because their handle is exactly what they are. At the Meadowlands. Just like on Twitter, my name is at Caprocious Hunk.
what?
Yeah, we all know that of the three of us, I'm the Adonis.
Oh yeah.
That is why during the summer I was forced to do all of the shows shirtless. As much as I got cold, especially at Running Aces, because that was towards September, and you know the Scarlet Moon was out. Although it was out, it was still a bit brisky. But you know, I had to keep the shirt off for the sex appeal. That's all I'm good for.
So that's why everybody waited till it got chilly till they showed up.
I don't seem to understand because I was that night, even though it was cold, I still didn't wear my shirt. I even offered to take my pants off, and everyone was like, no, I'm going.
The Pick4's at London are really good.
I bet.
Well, we
Considering
know
what won.
you lost.
I know. I'm looking and
Well, Largent Legacy was tough to have. You had to go all to have that one.
I don't know. I mean, usually I get it, and I didn't use. But what I'm saying is, you know, I thought that horse was. I bet 20 and 20 on that horse last week.
Yeah.
You know
Wait,
what I mean?
who won the
you know.
second leg? I don't remember.
What's that?
Who won the second leg? I don't even remember anymore.
That was
Spider-Man Hanover.
Hanover. That horse was. I mean, I know I went too deep there, but
I didn't
I
like
mean,
that.
the two was, yeah. And then the chalk. I mean, it went chalk, and now these Pick4's are paying, you know, big money.
And we should,
The twos. I mean, the twos $350 for a buck. The fives, you know, $850 for a buck. The eights, you know, $350 for a buck. The nines almost. It's like $1,200.
wow.
That's
Meanwhile,
huge for what one. It's
I
huge.
put money to win on Reseda, who is currently 20 to 1. 5-2 favorite. The two tag up and goes are all scoring down. Pick 4 pool already at 64,000. We've been seeing it surpass the $50,000 guarantee tremendously.
Oh, they've been going almost $100,000 pools.
Yeah. But all of that's because
They won't tonight, I don't think, with the
slop.
weather. The weather, yeah.
I've been noticing this trend that handle's been going up across all tracks recently, and part of me also realized that we're almost kind of out of the '08 recession, which is probably why we're seeing a lot more money being bet.
But the racing at the Meadowlands has improved greatly. The fields are better, the handle's better, the racing's way better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a good product right now.
I was thinking to myself. I was thinking the other day as I was watching one of the races. When I was younger, I was taught the concept of the Meadowlands Shuffle, which is if you were on the lead quarter, you were going to be fifth at the half. And I just remembered seeing it for like the first time a couple of weeks ago. They're all being so much more aggressive this time around.
Well,
Wait till the other
you're
guys start to
getting-
show up there too.
Yeah, you're getting the main guys back over there now. Once you're getting towards stake season, you know, the good ones are coming back and they're racing them at the Meadowlands. So those guys are coming back and racing there, where they were all kind of scattered around the East Coast throughout the winter. Some were in Florida, some were driving down to Dover, some were at Yonkers. You know, they were just scattered. Now they all just want to go back to the Meadowlands.
And once those guys come back, it'll be single file.
Oh, shout out to Matt Presto, who's watching right now.
Is he a magician?
He follows along on NAHUPicks.com every night. Caught a 60-cent super in race 8 at Western Fair following NAHUPicks.com. Paid
Nice.
65 for 20 cents. He had it 3 times.
Congratulations.
So
as
that's
they are
what,
in
you know what we do for
the
that?
The 8th of the Meadowlands is at the gate. And now they're off and trotting with Rock of Cashel showing the most speed from the center. Life Well Lived pushes out 2 to the outside of him. 2 a.m. leaves out as well as now they're 3 across in the first turn. Swansea away 4th towards the inside as Tank Up and Go gets away 5th. To the inside of Fashion Creditor, parked out 6th, Latin 7th, Reseda tucking in 8th, 9th away the last chapter, and then trailing the field, Luminosity. Opening quarter bound now, Life Well Lived, cleared control from Rock of Cashel, now pulling to the outside for Callahan. 28 and 3 the opening quarter, Swansea riding Callahan's helmet is now Rock of Cashel brushes to the lead. Swansea up to challenge, and now Swansea sticks a neck in front past 3/8. Back and forth, 2 a.m. is now Buter angles to the outside, catching that cover, Tag Up and Go. Zlatan stays put towards the inside with Fashion Creditor now 3rd over in this developing flow. Receda's 4th up to the outside of the last chapter, and Luminosity is 5th over. In the back of the pack, 7 lengths off the new leader, Swansea, who enters the far turn a length and a quarter better than 2 a.m. to the outside. Half trotted 56 and 3 at 28 seconds, second quarter. Tempo quick into the far turn. Swansea holding off 2 a.m. by a length. Rock of Cashel sits a loose pocket 3rd as Callahan now gives some reminders as Tag Up and Goes 2nd up in the flow. 3 lengths off the lead. Life Well Lived is to the inside of that one with ground to make up. Fashion Creditor is moving wide 2 from the back with Reseda riding that one's helmet as they pass 3 quarters in 1:25 and a 1:28 and 3 for that 3rd quarter. Swansea drifts off the rail in the stretch but maintains a length lead. 2 a.m. dives towards the pylons, trying to overtake that one as Life Well Lived has room towards the cones. Then from the back, Reseda's trotting up a storm with Luminosity weaving through late. 2 a.m. trying to get past Swansea, and it's 2 a.m. taking over late to win by a half length at the wire. Swansea 2nd from Life Well Lived, and then Reseda 4th in 1:53 and 2. All right, 3-1 winner. I'm knocked out because I did not like 2 a.m. Did not think he would sit as close as he did, but he got into the place he had to be. Reseda did not leave, but had a lot of trot late.
That was a big race by the 8th there. I mean, was outside a long way and then finished up nice. That was a nice race.
Swansea raced way better than I thought it would, but I also think the track might be a bit front heavy.
Now you think it's front end all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, there was
I said it was front end. You're like, these horses are, greatest thing ever. Now, it's front end. How can you never agree?
This will be my last show, as I will be leaving to go follow my true calling of digging for gold in the Caribbean.
You're fired.
You just you know what though? This is true, and this happens a lot too. Like, you just want to be contrarian all the time. Like, you just want to, if I say
not true.
Left, you want to say right. It just doesn't matter.
That is not true.
I could say the earth is round, and you'd be like, nope, flat.
Well, we can both agree that it's an octagon.
This is how this show works. If anybody's ever watched this before, this is what happens. I say something, and Ray refutes it instantly.
Because sometimes you say things brazenly, and then to me, you have to rationalize it a touch.
Okay, you can rationalize whatever you want. Usually the things I say are typically correct. Not always, but most of the time.
You just caught onto the key word, typically.
Yeah.
The typically is not always.
You're typically wrong.
That's not true.
True.
I'm just correct in different ways. In the same way that people no longer die, they pass away. So we're going to go to break now. When we come back, I was trying to reference that Carlin bit because English is dead. We're all going to be speaking in grunts in 20 years, and quite frankly, I want to die. But when we come back from break, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk very eloquently and very openly, not only about our sexualities, but also about the Levies at Yonkers, as opposed to the Levies at Cal Expo, which I hear are going to be great this year, as well as the rest of the Pick4 from London and the rest of the Pick4 from the Meadowlands. But you're gonna have to stay tuned for all of that. Oh boy, it's gonna happen after this break time, brought to you by, but not limited to, CarMax, the Home Depot. Is it illegal to have fake sponsors? It probably is. So we are not sponsored by them. As now we present to you Break Time, a time-honored tradition each and every week on the show that is not brought to you by those corporations, but is instead brought to you by noise.